Hello friends, in last video I have discussed about methods that we use in tuple and what is tuple, why we use tuple. So in this video I am going to discuss about inbuilt functions of tuple. So first I have created a reference called my tuple of type tuple and this is my assigning operator and within parentheses as we know that syntax of tuple is within parentheses. So I have given some element and we can say that this tuple is heterogeneous because in this tuple the elements are of different types. That means of different data types. As you can see, my this is Tanvi and this is of type string. 8 is of type int, that means integer. -9 is also type of int. False is type of boolean and 3.1 is type of float and this 3.8 is of type string. So let me first run my tuple. I mean, it print my tuple. So I'm going to print and here tuple. So we can see we got my tuple and the insertion order is maintained. So we know that like list tuple also maintain insertion order. That means at which index I have given or I have insert any I have given an element, it will give me the same element at the same position. So now let's talk about inbuilt functions of Python. Inbuilt functions of tuple. So let me clear the terminal. So we will learn inbuilt functions of tuples one by one. So first let's go to length function of tuple. So we will use length function of tuple to find the length of the tuple. That means we will get the number of elements present in the tuple. So if I print this line, it will give me the number of tuples that is present in the number of elements that is present in that tuple. So let me run. Now we can see it is giving me, this is my tuple that I have here. I'm going to print this line. That's why it's giving me. So let me comment this line. Now we can see. Let's run again. Okay. So the length is 6. As we can count, this is my 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, then 6. This is my 6. So there are only 6 elements present in this table. That's why it is giving me the length. Uh, I mean number of elements present in the table. So next we will go to maximum. Actually, in this case, we cannot use this function maximum and minimum, also sum as well as sorted because we have given here heterogeneous tuple. Okay, let me create another tuple so that let me comment this. I'm going to create another tuple that will be of okay. Now my tuple of type tuple equal to. Here I'm going to give only numbers. Okay, so now we can use these functions, that is maximum, minimum, sum, and sorted function also. So let me print. I'm going okay. Let me first print maximum, minimum, sum. As we know, when we use maximum max function of tuple, it will give me the number which is maximum, that means the highest number present in the tuple. And when we use minimum, it will give us the minimum value present in the tuple. And when we use sum function, it will give us the total addition or total sum of the elements. So let me print it again. So now we can see length is 7 as I have changed my tuple. So in this tuple, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements. That's why it is giving me length as 7. Now, next line, maximum. So, or we can say manually also that there is 89 is maximum number. That's why it is giving me 89 as maximum. And we can see minus 9 is minimum, so it's giving me minus 9 as minimum. And the sum is 212 of this total elements. So let's move to the next line. First, let me comment these lines. Now I'm going to use sorted function. So if I use this function, it will sort the tuple. That means it will start from, okay, let's see first what is going to give me. So as I can say, it first, that means it is sorted in ascending order. That means first is minus 9, then 0, then 2, 8, 47, 75, 89. So in this way, we can use sorted function also. As we have already learned these functions, I mean these same functions for list. That's why I'm not going in deep. So now I'm going to use, let me comment first this line. Now I'm going to use all and any function. So what is the use of all function and what is the use of any function and what is the difference between these two functions? Okay, so let me comment these two lines together. So now we can understand the difference between any function and all function clearly. So let me first clear the terminal. Okay, now I'm going to run. So all true is false and any true is true. That means it is giving me the output in the form of, that means in Boolean form. So what is the meaning of all? We have already learned in list that, okay, let me show you when we what we have used in list. So in list, when we used, okay, all, I have already told that if no number, if I mean no element of the number list will be 0, then only it will give us true. This is the work of all function. And what is the work of any function? So it will give us true if any of the elements present in number list will be 0, or if no number is 0, then it will give us false. So this is the main difference between any function and all function. Now let's move to our tuple again. So now we can understand that when I use here all function, so it is going to give me false because there is one element 0, and just now we got knew that if any element is 0, then it will give us false when we use all function. Then when we use any function, if any element present in this tuple is not 0, then only it will give us false. But we can see that one element is 0. That's why when we use all function, it will give us false. And when we use any function, it will give us true because at least one element is 0. What if I give her 1, then what will be the output? Let's check. So now it is giving me true, all true is true because there is no element as 0. So in this way, inbuilt function of tuple work. But there are two functions left that is more very important two functions: enumerate and iteration. So when we use enumerate, it give us, it is also like iteration. We have already know that when we use these function list, we got the value or element with index pair. We can say that enumerate will return index element pairs. So, so first let me run this program, then I will explain. Okay, now I'm going to print. So it is giving me as index pair value. I can see now. So we get the output in this way. That means index pair. As we can see that at index 0, the value is 2. At index 1, the value is 8. At index 2, the value is minus 9. In this way, we get the output when we use enumerate. So what we need to give syntax for enumerate. So first we have, it is also like for loop. That means, so we have to write 4, and I'm using here index and value because enumerate gives in index value pair. That's why I mentioned here index comma value in enumerate, and in parentheses we need to give our tuple link. So that's why I have given here my underscore tuple and then column. Now I'm going to print index, which is I mean this is my variable index and this is my static part. So this is my value and this is my static variable. So it will give me in this form. Okay, let's move to iteration. Let me comment this line. So in list we have already get knew that when we use iteration, so it will give us, that means it will return an iterator object. So let me first uncomment this line, these lines. Okay. Now this is my iterator, that means my underscore iterator, and I am going to iterate my tuple. This is not the format of typecasting. I have already said when I was discussing list. So this is not the type of, this is not typecasting. I am using here my tuple and I am going to iterate my tuple. That's why I have written my underscore iterator and of type another type iterator, then underscore sorry, then assigning operator iter my tuple. Now I have written here print iterate over the element. So as I have taken taken my tuple and in this tuple I have stored just numbers, that is integers. So I have given here 4 number in my iterator. As I have already said that I am going to iterate my tuple and I am going to store this iteration of my tuple in the my underscore iterator. So that's why I have given here 4 number in my iterator, then print number. So it will give me the output in, let me delete this. Okay, that's one. So it will give me iterator over the element 289. That means it is also giving me the value of tuple. But what is the difference between enumerate and iteration? Enumerate gives us index element pair, but iteration gives just elements. Now let's comment these lines, and now I will discuss on one important point about iteration about tuple. I have created here nested tuple. So for tuple we can use nested tuple also. That means in a tuple, in a single tuple, we can store list, dictionary, set, or tuple also. That means tuple itself. So in this tuple, that means I have created a reference called nested of data type tuple, and this in this tuple I have given first 5. That means these are elements 5, then 9, and then I have created a tuple in this tuple. So the first element of this tuple is Renu, then false, then 9.8. This is also of type string, and Renu is also type string, then 0, and then comma 9. Okay. So now I'm going to access or execute this. Let me print. Let me print this. Okay, instead, I'm going to access the element present at 1 index. So what it will? No, at 1 index we will get the output as 5. So okay, first let me run. So for this we get 9. What if I give here as index 2? So what it going to give me? It will give me the tuple that I have created at second index. So this is my first index, this is my zeroth index, then this is my first, then this. That means I can say that this this tuple is at second index. Okay, so it is going to give me, if I want to access in this any element present in this tuple, so we can do one thing here. If I give here again, I'm going to give 1. Then if I going to go to access this, sorry, execute this, then it will give me. So at second index, that means this is my second index, and in this second index, what element is present at first index? So this is my element percentage first index because Renu is at 0th index, then false is at first index. That's why I can get false as a first index of sorry as the first index of the tuple which is at second index. So in this way we can use nested tuple. In next video we will discuss another data structure of Python. Thank you very much. Stay happy and healthy. Bye.